baking beauties, it's Miranda Valentine, editor of the lifestyle blog Everything Sounds Better in French, and today we're gonna make our best ever chocolate cake. Now this is the most moist, rich, creamy, delicious, super chocolatiest cake you will ever have. And I promise if you pair it with our chocolate sour cream frosting or even your favorite frosting, it is bound to be a huge knock it out of the park hit. So it's really easy to make, and I have our ingredients all laid out here. We have 1.5 cups of milk, 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 eggs unbeaten, 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter. We have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. We have 2 teaspoons here of vanilla, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And then these 4 ingredients up here comprise our chocolate sour cream frosting, which is so tasty. So here we have 1/4 of a cup of unsalted butter, 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate pieces, 2.5 cups of powdered sugar, and 4 ounces or 1/2 of an 8-ounce container of sour cream. Now a quick note about this. As you'll see over here, we have a 13 by 9 inch pan. This recipe that we have, the actual cake recipe, will either make one 13 by 9 inch sheet cake, or you have 2 other options. It will make 2 9 inch by 1 inch round cakes, or 2 8 inch by 8 inch square cakes. If you choose to do the 2 cakes, either the round or the square, you would need to double the frosting recipe. So just double everything, and you will frost those beautifully. But if you're just doing a sheet cake like we are today, just use the recipe as I provided it to you. So let's get started. We're gonna get started with the actual cake part. So I'm going to begin by adding my flour, my cocoa powder, my baking powder, my salt, and my baking soda. And I'm just gonna mix this all together until it's perfectly mixed, and then we're gonna set it aside. Okay, so our next step now is going to be beating the butter. A quick note about both the butter and the eggs. We've let the eggs and the butter sit out at about room temperature for at least 30 minutes. We're going to be beating the butter with an electric mixer, and if it was cold and hard, it would be really difficult to do. So pop the butter into the bowl. So let's mix our butter on medium to high speed, about 30 seconds. Okay, so now it's time to add in the sugar. Remember, 1/4 of a cup at a time. And we're gonna continue stirring and mixing. And we're gonna keep doing this until all of our sugar is incorporated. It's gonna take us about 3 to 4 minutes. So now our butter and sugar are all creamed, and we're gonna add the eggs in one at a time, continuing to beat, about 1 minute total. Great, now that's all mixed together. The last step is to put in our vanilla. Okay, now we're ready to add in the milk and our delicious flour chocolate mixture over here. So we're gonna do a little bit of each alternating. So a little bit of milk goes in, and then a little bit of the mixture. And we're just gonna keep on going like this until it's all combined. And when you're mixing something together, be sure to keep scraping the sides and just kind of folding in any dry ingredients that are clinging to the side as you go. Okay, so we are ready to pour our beautiful super chocolate cake mixture into this pan. This is a 13 inch by 9 inch again, and this has been greased. First put a little bit of parchment or wax paper down, then grease it with your grease of choice, and then lightly flour. So that's happening here. And then behind me, the oven is preheating at 350 degrees. I'm just gonna spread this out evenly. And we're gonna pop it in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes for either this 13 inch or the 2 8 inch, or 30 to 35 minutes if you're doing those 2 9 inch pans. So now we're gonna pop it in the oven, 350 degrees. For this, it's going to be 35 to 40 minutes, or until I can insert a wooden toothpick in the center and it comes out nice and clean. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven and get started on my chocolate sour cream frosting. So we are going to begin by melting the chocolate in this saucepan. I have it on really low heat. When you're melting chocolate, It's pretty difficult if you just were to throw the chocolate in there without some sort of fat, either like an oil or a butter. The chocolate will it melts really, really fast and it will just burn. So I'm adding in the butter first and then adding in the chocolate and just watching it and mixing it together. And the moment it's all melted, just gonna turn the heat off and let it sit for 5 minutes. Okay, so my chocolate and butter melted beautifully together. I've let it cool for 5 minutes and I transferred it to this bowl just for easy mixing. I'm now adding in the sour cream and I'm just gonna mix this together just quickly. We're gonna be beating this in a second with the electric mixer, so no worries. Just give it a nice little twirl. Oh, it smells so good. Chocolate and sour cream, oh my gosh. Okay, set this to the side and we're just gonna start adding in our powdered sugar and mixing it together until it's all nice and combined. We're gonna do it a little bit at a time. Anytime you're introducing like a powder into some sort of liquid, like a solid, you wanna do it slowly so it has time to mix together and kind of absorb the dry ingredient. And we are good to go and frost our cake. So the beautiful cake is all frosted. I'm so excited about this chocolate sour cream frosting. It really brings something a little bit different to the dish. This is definitely bound to be a crowd pleaser because after all, this is our best ever chocolate cake. And now you know how to make it. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And if there's something that you want to learn how to make, send me an email at requests@mahalo.com. And don't forget to check out our other great videos.